is a story from my childhood, and it's a story that actually changed a lot of things for me in my life, especially our house. We changed it after this incident. My full name is Danish Sait, and Saits as a family, we've always been very middle class. All of us have lived the middle class life, have we, haven't we? We have, right?
Yes.
Okay, no, it's like four people here. I'm assuming the others have come from town, but yeah. So, we were so middle class that we didn't buy glossy brown paper. Remember, we had books to cover our books, right? We never bought the glossy one. We bought just brown paper. Why? Because my sister was 5 years older. We could unwrap that and then wrap it around mine, turning the side. So that's how middle class we were. And every middle class home, you keep shifting your house every now and then. There's no perfect address. You're just moving from one place to the other. So once we decided to move to the old airport road. Have you all been to Bangalore?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Have you heard of this area called Indiranagar?
Yes.
So it's a rich area. Basically, all the rich people live there. So we got a house around there, not in Indiranagar, but next to Indiranagar. Okay. So what the house had was basically a veranda, like a nice black gate. You enter inside. There's a space where you can park two-wheelers, one vertically, one horizontally. Because both won't fit in like that. Then it had like a fancy veranda, and then when you go in there was a hall, and then there was a dining area, 2 bedrooms. We just moved from a 1 bedroom to a 2 bedroom. Now this house had 2 bathrooms, each room had 1 bathroom and an area outside where they again had 2 bathrooms there, which essentially means 4 bathrooms in 2 bedrooms, steal. For a middle class home, that's a steal. Now guess how much we paid for that house? What was the rent? Anybody? Shoot a random number. 7,000 somebody said? No, it was 3,000 bucks. Yeah.
In 1927.
No, in 1999. I was about 11 years old back then. Okay, so we were very happy. We shifted in, and then life was pretty good until one night when it started raining cats and dogs in Bangalore. Horrible rain, like can't describe it. I was, since my sister and I was sleeping, we were sleeping in our room, and I remember my sister like kicking me and waking me up saying, "Listen, you've done susu." For an 11-year-old child, it's possible. So I obviously woke up startled and felt, and I was like, "No, it's not me, maybe it's you." Then she woke up as well, and then we looked around, at the room, and we figured no normal child can do so much susu. Right? Because we were floating. And if you're wondering where my parents were at this point, my parents were in their room. Now the thing with middle class homes is, the parents usually get a cot and a bed. But then the children only get the bed. Like you're literally on the floor on a mat. So then we started shouting and screaming for them. The day had actually passed by, and my mom used to run supermarkets in Bangalore. So as a part of grocery supply, she had gone to the market and she had gone and sourced rice and dal and sugar and all of that. And all of that was kept in the area right behind, like that little garden sort of area, which was whatever, where the 2 extra bathrooms were, right? It was kept there. Mom woke up and they all figured that there was water in the house. Basically the rains had completely like gotten into the house. So they came running. Now what do you think they went first for? For the grocery or for the kids?
Grocery.
Exactly, middle class home. Screw the kids, let's stay there. Okay, they went and saved all of that, and then they came to us, and now there were clear briefs put out to each of us saying, this is what you're going to do, this is what you're going to do. So my brief was to sit on the dining table till we figure this out. So I'm sitting on the dining table now, and my sister was asked to go and hang against the grill in the veranda. So that poor girl hung there for 2 hours, like with both her legs there. She just held on to it and stayed there. Mom and Dad decided that they had to fix stuff, but we couldn't because it was very early in the morning, 5:36. They had to figure this out. Dawn, at dawn, they stepped out. Neighbors started coming in, and then you know how neighbors are, right? They'll say the obvious. South Indian neighbors, they came and said, "Oh, madam, what is this? Madam, full water escape inside the home. What we will do now?" So my mother was like, "Yeah, we'll have to figure a way out." And then they decided to call the owner. So by then my dad had to go to the store because the stores had to be opened, so he left. My mom took my sister because she was the older one, and they went to the STD booth to call this owner, who's in Dubai. Great house owner, superb guy, understood the problem. Told him, he said, yeah, madam, 100% I understand whatever the problem is. It's Malayali there. He said, yeah, I understand everything, don't worry, you please shift out of the house. But make sure you give 20% as refurbishment money. It's not our fault, but you know how house owners are. If you have to leave, you have to give them money or they won't let you go. So my mom said, okay, fine, came back, and by then the relatives also came in, and then there was this whole discussion on what to do with the house. Now, in the meantime, what is happening was I was on this table, and this is where I realized I can't do arts and crafts. Why? Because I tried making boats and putting them into the water, and like snack boxes passing by with cookies inside them, and picking them up and eating them up. I've thrown the wrappers inside. So my mom came in, through all that mess. She walks right, like literally swims across the house and comes and gives me one tight slap. What are you doing? I'm like, no, I'm very worried. Like, they don't get it, right? In America, it's all proven and all of that depressed people eat a lot. But in India, it doesn't work. People are like, shut up, you're lying. So anyways, so my mom came, figured all of that out. I was very worried about this video game that I had. Like, again, it was so middle class that we didn't buy it. My uncle from South Africa gifted it to us. We couldn't save much, but then mom came home and then the relatives came over, and then the discussion was, what do we do with this house now? So the relatives obviously said, so we speak Dakhini Urdu, they said, ek kaam karo, pani kule ko bahar dal dalo. There's a lot of water in the house, but you know, chambo bhar bhar ko bahar dal dalo. Mom said, no, you can't do that, you can't throw the water out, what's the other way around? So then we figured, my mom and my sister went out that same evening, and they got a house, again 2-bedroom house. This time around it was on the 4th floor, obviously because of the bad case of living on a ground floor house. It had a lift as well, it had 3 balconies, and guess what the rent there was?
7,000.
7,500, we doubled it straight. So mom came back and then we shifted into that house straight up. That house is very special, of course, the reading house. Now here's what I learned out of that house, right? The 3 things that came across. One is obviously the fact that I was very bad at arts and crafts and I should never dirty and pollute the environment because I was throwing things in and I got slapped that day. The second thing is how my mum actually stood up there to say that when your family is in distress or when they're in trouble, no matter what the stakes are, like to even double them, but eventually to have a better life for your family is very important. I learned how family is, sacrosanct and paramount through that one incident. And the third thing was obviously, ground floor houses are unsafe. So we've been living on, different levels ever since. But of course, also like one final learning that I think I should share with you all is no matter how bad the circumstances, the idea is not to like kind of stay in there and swim and struggle, but instead I think it's just to elevate your game, like literally elevate your game. The middle class attitude still hasn't gone. I have a Ferragamo belt, which is reversible, brown and black.